The thing is here.
All right. Well, I've clicked record, so let this session of the Workinonit Council begin. Michelle, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a council. It's like a war council. It's like a collective. We've got them all, baby. Hello, my name is Michelle PEREZ. You may know me from online. I'm a user of online. I'm joined as always by a constellation of buddies. Today we have my buddy Jake, my buddy Ruben. Our buddy Eliza is fine and okay and doing normal. And Twitter recently zapped her via DCMA abuse, and I think it's fucking dog shit. I hate it. I think it isn't cool or enjoyable. But Eliza is unkillable, and hopefully will be returning quite soon. And that's what's up. I.e., that. How are my fellow podcasting buddies? How are you guys doing today?
We're like dog shit.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you a lot to work with.
That's great.
Let's see. I feel like shit. I've been feeling like shit for a month. It's not getting better. I bought a gun. I bought a gun. I feel like shit. I'm holding the gun in my hand.
All right, Ruben. Wait.
But now. Oh
Ruben,
no!
Ruben,
Put the gun down.
Ruben,
Put
please
the
do
gun
not.
down.
Ruben, please don't desk pop on the podcast.
Don't desk pop.
Please do not
Quick
desk pop
Quick
on the
desk pop.
podcast.
No.
Desk pop.
No.
Please.
Every time someone
Quick
someone
desk.
jokes about the desk
Please
pop,
do not desk
they
pop.
actually do a desk pop. So do not
the
shoot
gun-
the table.
The gun's been unloaded.
I have a feeling we
Cool.
will be hearing quite a few click clacks from Ruben these days.
I had the roommate before in this place would always try to like carry on regular conversations with me consistently while cleaning, maintaining, and like assembling and disassembling her Glock. And so a lot of the time she'd be like, "So did you see that new movie?" And like it was just like, you gotta stop fucking doing that. I mean, it just sounds like at the end of this conversation, one of us is going to live and the other of us is going to die.
Yeah.
Shells into your
I
dinner.
think she was practicing to kill you, Michelle.
Well, fucking mission failed. She's doing. She's since moved out. My current roommate is great. We did our Fortnite episode last week. And I had to think. I had to say something about this. I had to think about this, and I'll make it short and sweet, since the joke is that I'm an old man rambling. So I think with how often everyone has been working, and especially now lately, it's next to impossible to talk to any friends that aren't in college that don't have upwards of 2 jobs. Recently, I went on vacation. And vacation for you or me looks different. I had like something of a bender for a week in Baltimore. I met some old friends. I had a lot of sex. I did a lot of drugs and drank a lot of alcohol. It was fantastic. And we recorded an ep and did the thing about Fortnite. And I thought, like, honestly, I feel like if there's something about America that I don't like, it's that like the vacation is thought of as sort of a luxury as opposed to a sort of release that someone needs in which to not go ape shit. I can't think of how many violent altercations or acts of crime or self-destruction that may have been prevented if like you I don't mean to be uncouth here, but like if you just got some pussy and got high for 4 days, like
I think a better way to say that with Michelle might be if motherfuckers got a break every once in a while.
if you were to get a break, if you got the boot off of your head for 5 fucking seconds, then maybe we wouldn't have as much day-to-day conflict as we have. But there's this constant culture of hustling and rubbing bone onto bone until there's nothing left and you're just completely whittled down. And what I'd like to say is, if you can fucking find that time for yourself in your life where you are not like run ragged. This is the first vacation I'd ever taken in my adult life, and I was still sort of working on my vacation. So I'm not even necessarily practicing what I'm preaching. It's just like, just being unfettered, even if I'm doing the things I want to do. It makes a world of difference. And like, if anyone I know or who listens to this, if you have any opportunity to just fuck off for a few days with no repercussions, which I'm going to assume is a shrinking pot, do it. Feel no shame or fear or whatever. Just find time in your life to just waste time at some point or another, or suffer the consequences. Like you have to, you need release. Like it's the human condition, and anyone that tells you different is a sociopath that wants to drink your blood like Dracula. On that note, I'm joined today by an artist collective that I've known for quite some time, full of crazy characters. There are so many ghost fruits. There's so many of them. It's like iterations of Pokemon, like hype beast style Pokemon, iced out Gengars all the way. And we are joined with quite a few of them, including some folks I know in my personal life who have also joined the collective over years. Their output is so difficult to describe. The art styles are disparate and also sort of esoteric, and have a sort of anti-structure that I think some people make the mistake of saying are lo-fi or this or that, where it's actually a very specific decision that they make it look the way it has. And just for full disclosure, I've collaborated with these guys in the past with the Michelle PEREZ x GHOSTFRUITS SPIDERMAN, which was a lot of fun. That we sort of did that in the past. It's like my desktop background on any work computer I have.
Michelle, I'm going to be a stickler. Yeah. Where might someone find that? Is that live anywhere still?
That's on memory serves the GHOSTFRUITS Tumblr. But
very cool.
Before we get to that, let's introduce the GHOSTFRUITS, Jake.
That's right.
Or a sampling, a taster's choice menu of fruits that are spectral.
Please welcome to the show.
Please welcome to the show, GHOSTFRUITS.
Hey, who's popping? Was that when I was supposed to?
Yes.
I come in on time?
Yes. Please, God, right? please, God, stop her.
Yeah, that was like a tremendous amount of fanfare. I've heard you do that for other people, and I was like certain that when it got around to like our thing, it would be like, yeah, I don't know, we found some niggas.
Yeah, I maybe would choose some different words, but yes.
Yeah, I just yeah, sorry. I have to. The job has been given to me to chain everyone else together, and so I should probably get Powell. Say what's up, holla if you hear me. Powell,
remember to unmute your mic.
Powell is dead now.
Oh no!
Goddamn! All right.
I clicked on the chat window. Sorry, and it won't let me do the spacebar thing anymore. I'm Powell. Hello.
Oh no! Well, spacebar tech is down.
This is how the sausage.
Oh wait, no, it works. We're good. I'm back. I can do it again. Okay.
It's the taste of our power.
Yeah.
Already mesmerized. Look what we do.
The app is destroyed.
Micah, what's up? You want to jump in? Let me get it.
Yeah, hello. I'm Micah, aka Sheeta on many platforms. I'm one of the 9 iced out Gengars in Ghost Fruits, rubbing bone on bone as we do.
Lauren,
Bone
let me
on
hear
bone.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Lauren.
it. Lauren
you
had the
might know
cleanest
me-
one.
Fuck yes, you might know me as Garbo Trash here and there. Yeah, hi.
Rah!
Welcome all 4 of you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you folks have been at this for years. I'd seen you on Tumblr like a little after wrapping up a comic of my own, and saw you sort of do Francine, also a member. This was prior to her joining, and saw a lot of your earlier comics. One in particular was with a character named Hammerwolf or some such.
Oh
that
yeah.
I just thought was insane, and just
Thank
the
you.
structure of it, and even the way the onomatopoeias and stuff worked in the comic were just so interesting, and the color swatches and the characterization and the little dudes. Ghost Fruits, if you've ever seen their art, is absolutely strewn about with little guys and little
Yeah.
dudes. The structure of the characters, wonderful stuff. Just kind of like a brief Cliff Notes bio, like when did you guys start? When did you form? And what's sort of your collective ethos?
Fucking, I'm gonna hit this one if nobody else minds. I feel bad that I've been talking as much as I have already, but I was like there.
Hit it,
that
baby.
early.
You said
Oh,
two
dude.
things.
To be clear, you're here to talk. It's all right, man.
Okay.
It is a
all right.
podcast. It is a podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking I want to say like 2013. Technically it's probably when we started. But that didn't I don't think that a lot of the stuff we did took shape until maybe like 2014, and then like in the form that it's in now, probably like 15. It's kind of deliberately amorphous, because I feel like the only way for collectives to like stay together for like a long time is if they're like allowed to sort of contort around what people need. So we've moved at like a lot of different speeds and done a lot of different stuff to accommodate like everybody. Fucking as far as like ethos and all that shit, I feel like Micah generally is better at like, because I just like put lines down, I just throw shit up, I just got a lot of feelings. That Micah generally, I feel like, has done a better job of being able to like articulate verbally, if you want to handle that half of the shit.
Sure. Yeah.
Tag in, tag out.
Yeah. It's much easier to talk about it structurally and then kind of extrapolate like kind of our whole operation off of it. Working as a collective, as Stephen mentioned, it's more of tending a garden than it is working in a startup. We're very, I guess, like sensitive to each other in the way that we don't have a set schedule until we figure out the thing that we want to do next. We all came together, I'm not going to say entirely because of like, you are the best at what you do, but it's like, you are the favorite thing of what you do. And you're very fun to hang out with. That's kind of like how each of us got kind of pulled in to the shit. And having kind of a holistic relationship based more on ability to gel in a personality sense than it is as like pure, strong technical shit, which I think is a mistake a lot of people make as far as like assembling teams. Has allowed us to thrive the way that we do. So talking about kind of like, the modality, I guess, of how stuff comes together. For me, in my mind, a lot of people balk at the term, but from my understanding, it's collage, or it's composition, in the way that there is 9 of us, and all of us work, and I'm extremely grateful for this, in extremely different ways. And so what we end up with is kind of a framework for each of the things that we make that then gets added to with different assets each of us creates. We work to each other's strengths very well. And then all of that gets kind of put together into one piece of art, and each of those is manifested in our zines. Right now, our current zine series is called Enemy. Previously, we worked in a bunch of different zines that are all up on our Gumroad. There are dozens. It's very funny to just see the massive amount of stuff that's collected over the years. But that's what's nice about working with 9 people, is that we're always naturally making things, and all of that ends up collected. A lot of the stuff that happens is from just hanging out and kind of what some people have called inside jokes, where it's like we'll just be sharing images we like, or riffing about, I don't know, working at a car wash, or being a vizier to account, and then that gets flipped into something in the future. So like I said, it's a very holistic experience. But when somebody has a pitch for something that wants to get pulled out, we kind of put hands on it in the way that we feel is most effective for what is needed. So the overall ethos, I would say, is that we are working to create an aesthetic experience that is pretty unique for the other stuff that's been going on, at least in the kind of internet and media that I've been exposed to recently on the internet. And we're always striving to do something new for each other, because that's kind of the main thing that what it comes from. Because if we don't think it's hot for each other, then there's no point in doing it. And so our house style has kind of developed from us really being into what each other is doing.
That's very well said.
You can tell homegirl went to school.
Yeah,
All of it, the whole thing.
absolutely. And I want to emphasize for the listeners, if y'all are listening and you're not as familiar with Ghost Fruits, and if you haven't looked up their stuff, it would be relevant to kind of look this up right now, because what Sheeta's talking about is a style that is very like I feel like could only the style I've seen from Ghost Fruits, and the reason I'm kind of cutting in here is because I was first exposed to y'all via Michelle's comic way back in the day, just seeing her post it. And the pages just kind of fucking blew my brain up for a second, because I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, how are you making these? Because it's this vibrant line work coupled with all this, as she just said, like collage aesthetic is everywhere. And I was wondering if that was appropriate or not, because I think that visually that actually does show up quite a bit in your work. Just I could imagine, if this wasn't a digital product, the cutting and pasting of many different types of material to go into this, it gives that sort of a vibe digitally.
Completely.
Yeah.
And one thing that makes it more cohesive is the ability to flip each of the assets that we contribute into something that ends up as a I don't know, a cohesive whole. And that is, as far as like each of our roles in this, because I feel like we do have specializations, is Stephen and his ability to produce. He's a very adept visual producer. I think his taste and ability to see the core of what each of us is doing, and understand how to direct each of us into kind of the appropriate channels for each thing that needs to happen, is a huge part of how this comes together. And I feel like we each kind of have that sensibility, but he's been the main one kind of instrumentalizing each of us to create, for each issue of Enemy and for zines in the past, stuff that is overall more cohesive than, just us straight throwing our assets all together on one page and calling it good.
Right. And also to be clear, like y'all are making like comics at the end of the day for a lot of the big chunk of this material. And in a way that I just really haven't seen done quite as cool previously. Like, and I'm a fucking nerd who reads a lot of comics.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just to jump in, like I've seen collage style comic art in the past, and the interesting thing about what your output to me is, Jake, you remember Batman Digital Justice?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you thumb through any of the stuff that I threw up in chat of some of these images and the way that the collage style works, it's like if someone made a stylized version of that it's the Batman Digital Justice, just as a quick aside, is a very, very interesting and funny, but ultimately hyper jank Batman comic that is interesting for the fact that it basically is acid drip Batman, and it's very atypical of sort of traditional
You're-
Batman shit.
You're burying the lead. It was one of the first comic books that was like produced entirely on a computer. That's why it was
Yes,
called
there it
Batman
is.
Digital Justice, and that's why it is made of really weird pixelated computer art. If you go look at it.
Yes.
However,
yeah,
what's cool about, I mean, what I see in the Ghost Fruit stuff is like an integration of line drawing, right? Of just drawing, like doodle-esque drawing, almost like very simplified stuff on top of the collage. Like imagine if Batman Digital Justice, I don't know, was like infected by Batmite or something like that, to pull a weird one out of the hat that only 3 people will get.
yeah. There's this one page we're looking at right now where basically we have a character talking about breeding special hounds. The rare, expensive, malicious. They're all unique. They all have individual personality and fur patterns. They make plans, and then it goes through. It does like little character sheet write-ups of these CGI digitally rendered little guys. Randall, you got Marquez from $9.99 to $7.99 to Kendall, and of course, who could forget Melon? And they're all incredible looking little guys. It's super engaging. It's a visual treat, and like, for the most part, it's very difficult describing a Ghost Fruits comic, but like, the experience you're sort of in for, that sense of humor, that it's one of the few instances where even if you have visual points of reference, it feels like you're engaging with something new, which is very difficult nowadays. I think it was why even like I as soon as you guys said yes, it was like one of the fastest scripts I ever wrote. We didn't really have a lot of back and forth on it. It was really cool. You guys also do clothing, memory serves, yes? Like you've done some limited clothing?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, mega. I would say about neck and neck with the other things that we've put out.
Yeah, it's that aesthetic is very interesting. It's like almost dirt biker outfits meets like, I don't know, people that hunt other hype beasts and then sell their hype beast skins and furs for coin.
I mean, I think the thing that both of them have like in common is like for me as like the person arranging it, and like I don't know, I think the way that Mike had like described me like a minute ago like gives me like more credit than is like fair, and like well, it's like the thing is like it's not as if like it's not this like big fucking grandiose like Steve Jobs kind of thing where it's like, oh, and I'll put it's, I just want shit to be loud, and I'll steal like a shirt that someone makes and it like feels like normal, mostly like most shirts I see are like normal, and then I don't know, I feel like if you just keep making the shirt, like if you just don't stop, and if you just don't stop making the page of comics, then it's like you end up with something that's like layered with all this extra shit. It's like all fucked up and big and crazy, and that's kind of how I want everything to be. That's kind of how I want like the world that I live in to be. And like so like yeah, I mean for clothing, for a long time we were limited by like print on demand stuff, and like now that we're getting out of that, there's like a way higher ability to like try and make shit that's like those like Bosozoku suits and shit, like where it's like a big full body yellow camo thing and it's got fucking like letters all up and down the back of it and shit, like all whatever is like, I don't know. I feel
Y'all
like
should make a whatever print you want of an Adidas tracksuit, rip off Adidas tracksuit.
I have been trying so fucking hard to get tracksuits made, and it's like
Hell
so
yeah.
difficult to do.
I bet
without,
actually that makes sense.
Yeah. I want to.
I'm glad to
hella
know.
bad.
It warms my heart that y'all are trying.
Yeah, I want to make like I feel like I don't know. We've made a lot of comics, and I guess like ostensibly as a result, just I feel like if you make thousands of pages of something, that's I guess ostensibly your main thing. But it's like I don't know. I think that's mostly just because they're free to make and they're not that hard once you kind of like get even like mid-level good at it. And so it's like easy to like put a lot of them out and like use that to like build like your skill set at working with a bunch of people. But it's like I am stoked for us to like get the kind of bread that we need to like I would make clothes full fucking time. Like I don't know. Because that's the other thing is like at this point, like enough people are in the thing that are like multidisciplined or whatever that it's like kind of it's like not impossible for us to make most shit kind of like Lauren's whole thing is entirely divorced from like theoretically being useful to comics unless you make them in a freak way. And we have, and that has been her involvement in it. And I think that they come out tighter as a result. I think a problem with comics in general, and not to just be fucking, again, I know that I'm just, and I feel fucked up because I hear other people say this on your show and you're always like, no, it's fine, just go. It still feels bad in the moment. But good, man. I think a problem with a lot of comics stuff as someone who like was a kid and like read like a lot of it, like as fuck, like was like super, like that was my shit when I was a child, is that I think a lot of those guys don't have other influences or tastes or like wants for things like outside of comics. Like a lot of those dudes like don't listen to music. Like it sounds insane, but like they just don't listen to songs.
I know what you mean 100% because I grew up very nerdy, and then at a certain point in my life I started getting into some other stuff. And what I realized in every little community that I went to, for the most part, if I was at a metal show, if I was at a comic convention, you know, if I was at a fucking Magic tournament, I realized that most of the people there are not doing all of those things at once like I was doing. You know what I mean? Like it was much more centered on like, oh, that was their thing and their only thing. And that's, they get their whole life. I get that. I 100% know what you mean when you're talking about comics.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that like to make shit that's crazy, I don't think we're pulling off some like fucking insane maneuver. I think it's just as easy as like, allow yourself like influence and passion for anything that isn't like a very narrow, like incestuous sort of cycle of like this very one type of art with these one type. Like I don't think we're like that smart, really.
Right. Yeah. No. I think you're right that it's very simple, and I think other people, it's just very you know, there's a lot of people out there that just don't think that hard about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no smoke.
Well, no. I mean, I've talked to a lot of comics people and like a lot of like, and sometimes like in group chats or whatever. But for better or worse, there are some people that are just like super partialist about it, where like they just live and breathe comics. Like there's always a certain type of really cool out there artist that only fucks with European comics or manga, but like is maybe completely ignorant of like popular music or this or that. And sometimes that has interesting outcomes. But yeah, a great deal of the time, a lot of people that just sort of either stay immersed in like an idealized past or an idealized way of thinking about form. They do like deeply corny shit, but they sort of get reaffirmed within those circles. This is not necessarily smoke, but this is, well, no, this is smoke, but it's like very mid smoke. There's like a certain type of like like Vice Comics Fantagraphic sort of fucking brain trust where
comics for people that don't like a lot of comics is what I say.
The comics for people that are like, and they like to think of themselves as like the prestige version of comics. We're doing the real comics, and it's just very self-indulgent in the ways where you're self-indulgent, but you're like fucking self-indulgent on Diet Mountain Dew. It's fucking infuriating because
I mean, this is literally just my opinion, and it just came to me as Michelle was talking, but like it's so funny to me how like the pages y'all put out on the internet, and I truly like haven't even looked at that many of them. I'm not like super well versed, but I can stare at like 5 Ghost Fruits pages and say they kick the shit out of like 90% of the things I'd see at a local press, like a small press expo near me, because it would all be bad, sad person indie comics.
I'd say that
Again,
I'd say,
huge disclaimer, just my opinion, just
Yeah,
big fat IMHO.
no, everyone hates everyone is what I've observed passively. Like the guys that are all trying to do Simon Hanselman's thing, or I think the most egregious example is like Burliak. Jesus. Yeah, anytime I see Burliak, I just make a big fucking jack off motion in the air. It's just like, hey, congrats, man, you read manga. Great. You can draw fucked up foreheads. Good job. I really want to know what you think about other people's output. Why aren't the heads big enough? Why aren't they fucked up enough? Who fucking cares? In terms of that, I think of the output here, and it's just like, no, new, constantly. Give me things I don't recognize. It's all things you don't recognize, and like the colors. Jesus Christ. It's like not illegal to have color in things.
Truly highest compliment I can give, where I remember seeing those Spider-Man pages, and I was literally like, I ain't never seen no fucking thing like this before, which I don't say too often when I look at comic books. I usually say, oh, this looks like something I already know about. And to just see that exposed in that little, that was my first that was the first thing I saw in y'all's style, let's say, was Michelle's Spider-Man comic she did with y'all. It was very eye-opening to, oh, there's a world out there of people making shit that I'm definitely still not a part of, or not like privy to, and I'm very happy I just found out about it, so to speak.
Fucking thank you, dog. Jesus.
Yeah,
That's highly complimentary. Really.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, no, for real. Like I don't know, like it matters to me when stuff stands out, because otherwise I wouldn't be a snob, I guess. So like I definitely think this is like what Michelle said, where it's like I can only describe what I'm seeing as fresh and new, and it's pretty fucking cool. And in a way, I don't like, again, like the only thing I can even think back to is not necessarily new, but like Kirby used to do collage shit, and like I really haven't seen many other people do good collage plus actual drawn art shit in comic books even since New Gods and all that weird shit he did.
Well, I mean, that's, I don't know, it's there's people like Steranko.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Which
true.
is true, coming out of the same thing. That's it's a very good parallel to bring up.
Yeah, and I would say that honestly, the late era Kirby collage type stuff probably wouldn't honestly exist without Steranko's work. With Agent, Nick Fury and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So yeah, like just that vibe of that's the only thing. Like you're absolutely right to bring Steranko up first. Like that is like some of the only stuff I can think of that's not exactly the same as y'all stuff, obviously, but that could even be considered like, aesthetically comparable, I guess, in a good way.
I think the problem I run into a lot of the time when I try and talk about it to people is that a lot of those decisions, like I hadn't heard anybody describe it as collage until like I listened to Micah trying to describe our stuff to other people even. And I think that that's I think it's because my frame of reference for a lot of it, even though I know a lot of shit about comics, is not really like from that. It's from like musical stuff, which I don't even do. But it's like when I decided that I wanted to like be an artist like in a collective rather than just me, fucking like Odd Future was out at the time, and it was a thing where like on a lot of those songs, like dudes would just like show up and like do like a part of it and then like dip out.
Absolutely.
And that felt like what made sense to do if you're in a thing that has like 10 niggas in it. And I feel like when I'm doing it, it's not a matter of like literally like what I'm thinking is just like I will do like a page of the thing and it won't look that crazy. And then I'll like hit James and be like, yo, can you put like a bunch of like trees like back in this thing? Or can you just draw a bunch of trees in general and give them to me? And then he'll do that. And then it adds like this whole other flavor to it.
I mean, is it? I mean, you just it's posse cut comics, right? That's like the coolest shit. Like,
Oh my
that's
God, yeah, that's actually-
everyone's jumping in, right? That just came into my
Yeah.
head when you were talking.
That is, yeah, I have been trying to find a way to describe that for like ever. That is exactly what I need to do. I
Dude,
think.
as soon as you said the Odd Future thing, it clicked, because I love a good posse cut where just everyone takes a verse and everyone gets to rap, and like that's absolutely the vibe I get from y'all's comics too. I'm just like, hey, everyone gets to go in here.
Oh, thank you, dog.
Hey,
That
dog,
fucks-
that's what we're here for, baby.
Yeah, I think the worst I ever felt was maybe on the Spider-Man comic. Like James didn't get to like do enough or whatever. Where James is like, I guess one of the I don't know if I'm gonna be completely honest to you. I do not know who has stayed and left. I think there's maybe one person I could think of off of the top of my head that
There's like two.
left. All right, but so James still in the collective?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
James
okay.
is still here.
It's a big
Fucking
yes.
yeah. Yeah. Fucking I
was
would it be
gonna
worth
say,
it to like sorry, go ahead.
I think we're heading the same way. Do you want to list everyone in Ghost Fruits right now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Please.
Yes.
that was
Great minds
Brimpo,
think alike.
Brimpo, Skembo, Little Dottie,
Scribblo Bibblo,
Little Devil,
Big
Big
Tony,
Devil,
Little Tony. God damn it, Michelle.
Medium Tony.
Literally stole
sorry.
my Big Little Tony joke out from
Sorry,
underneath. me.
sorry.
I mean, you got them all. So I
Yeah. All right, yeah, sorry.
it's me, it's Micah, it's Lauren, it's Powell, it's Mango, it's James, it's Talk, it's B. I'm pretty sure it's 9, right? I always fuck this up. It's always fucking somebody.
and
There
it's
was
my
there
wife,
was
Francine.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say Francine.
No, you didn't.
How dare
That's-
you? You didn't
Hey,
say
Hey, wait,
Francine.
Lauren, who is it?
Sorry, big dog.
Strike one.
Wait, Lauren.
Why, working on it, alumni, Francine, witness the absurd.
Oh, I was trying to get you to say my wife in a Borat voice, but well done.
My wife.
Hey.
There it is, folks. We love to see it.
But yes, it is also Francine, who we have had on. So we have. This
Yeah.
is technically.
Yes.
We have technically had 5 Ghost Fruits members of the
Yeah.
podcast now.
Yeah. Fuck.
We'll have to do part 2 later, man.
Michelle initially pitched having all of us come on at the same time because she thought it would be funny.
Yeah,
It's true.
I dealt with that with a lot of grace because I'm an absolute saint, but I would have threatened her with violence if she was serious about it.
my measure of good collaboration or good friendship, etc., I think is like if someone says no to me and I don't immediately get mad, or like they are completely serious in their no, and I'm just like, okay, I can't do this as a fucking bit. So fair enough, but on some level, on some base level, you know, in your heart of hearts that like 20 people trying to talk at once, posse style, would be hilarious, but
I mean,
probably absolute podcast poison.
well said. Yeah, I mean, you should listen to the Comedy Bang Bang anniversary eps where they have like 11 or 12 guests. Scott Ackerman is like, it's like he's laughing, but he's clearly the most like occupied that he is in any of the episodes because he knows he has to get from one person to the fucking next to the fucking next to the fucking next.
I would have liked if like he asked one question and then they all answered simultaneously. Just like an awful Eric Andre bit that's way too fucking long in the tooth.
Okay, we're gonna ask one question and all of you are gonna answer simultaneously.
Okay, I'm
But
ready.
it can't be a super long question. So let's
Okay.
just say, what is your favorite thing to have for lunch? And all 4 of you go.
That'd
You
be
know,
a
like a
Reuben
grilled
I don't eat that
sandwich
much
with
stuff.
fries on the
Maybe
side
some
and a
olives or
pickle on the
something like
side
that.
also.
When I try and think about having food and it's not inside the window, mine went longer. I said something while they were talking. It's not my fault that their answer wasn't as long as mine. But
Oh no.
when I try and think about food when I've already eaten food, I can't do it. So mine was going to be nothing, but then I didn't want to get in
Got a
trouble
follow-up
for
question?
not having.
I got a follow-up
This-
question for Ghost Fruits.
this
Ghost
worked out
Fruits, can I answer a
wonderfully.
question real quick?
Yeah.
All Ghost Fruits, there are 9 of you, and you're all starving to death, and you have to determine who to eat. Who do you all eat, and then why? Real quick, if you could just sum that up in like 12 words or less.
I sacrifice myself, I die.
Whichever one is the biggest.
That's so crazy because I was going to say
Name them,
Micah.
please name one. Please name a member. Everyone, please name a member.
It's
at the
Micah,
same
I
time.
think.
Steven.
If
I
she
guess
already laid down.
Micah.
I think Micah's already nominated herself. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what
Micah
I was. I
either.
mean, it's funny because
Noble.
I was just going to say Micah.
Lauren tried to supersede Micah's sacrifice to get me in particular.
You're like
No, I think we
6
should
and a
eat the
half
person
feet
that's not
tall. You
willing.
would last the longest.
It's
All right.
Highlander
It
rules.
would be
If you
8
like,
of us. Think about it.
if you eat the biggest ghost fruit, then you become the biggest ghost fruit. So like there it
And then
That's
is.
you would
not
get
true
more
at all.
food. It's
That's
the
not true
regenerating
at all.
chocolate bar thing.
That's
You-
what they. Yeah,
just
Steven. That's
remember-
what they tell you. That's what they tell you to try and get you on the cooking fire. Oh yeah, no, your soul will live on in me forever. Totally. Oh yeah,
and all
no,
8 of us will become
Yeah.
the 8 Horcruxes.
it'll be great.
Okay.
I
Well,
just truthfully can't
you
live with
for
that
this.
on my conscience. So it's the coward's way out.
We're gonna have this hanging over the rest of
Thank
the
you for
fucking
the-
episode.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna have another phone call after this.
y'all.
because that's-
Oh shit.
We're adding a new bit. This has been Ruben's cannibalism minute.
I do think you should keep it.
If this
Yeah.
is, but I mean, we have to consider Titan logic as well, because if Steven's the main primary Titan, and then we know that the death of the biggest Titan kills all other Titans, would the rest of
This-
Ghost Fruits similarly
hell is
dissipate
Titan
as a
law?
result?
This
All
is
Lauren was trying to say was I was tall. That
Yeah,
was it. It wasn't.
yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think that there was a bunch of extra. I'm just taller than them.
All right, there's no other lore. Okay, then. I'm just
No.
checking.
What is Titan law?
If anyone didn't finish Attack on Titan, that had nothing to do with it.
There it is.
Oh,
God
boy.
fucking damn it.
Oh my god.
yeah. Sorry, I support Palestine.
What?
That's it. It's a whole deal. It's a whole deal.
I'm sorry, that's just not a very controversial thing to say in my house.
Yeah. There's something of a close reading one can do with Attack on Titan where isolationist actions by the state may or may not reflect a specific state or country in the world.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's pretty widely known, right, that the guy's a fascist sympathizer, and that's why all the characters have German names.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not litigating it, but that is the scuttlebutt I've heard.
Yeah,
And that the
That's a
German
weird one.
characters are all super people that were
Yeah, and that's why they have
experiments.
like that's why they're always like doing the really
That's why they're all
like high
blue-eyed
fidelity.
and
Yeah, exactly. The eyeball stuff.
invincible to the monsters of the world that have large noses
Yeah. Yep.
and love gold.
All right.
I'm
you
sorry,
guys
we were talking
stop
about something else
fucking
before
leaning
this.
into it too hard.
this
No,
this,
no, yeah,
this
no.
has been Ruben's Attack on Titan minute.
Yeah, no, I was about to say no, that we were talking about cannibalism a moment ago.
There we go. That's why.
There it is. There it
Disclaimer:
was.
I'm not a Titan Titan fan. I was just told the ending and thought that shit was wild.
Mm.
It's fucking real bad.
I'm nonplussed. I read everything. I read deeply awful things. Not like I have edgelord pretenses. It's just I'm a big fan of understanding quite literally as much as humanly possible. But like when I engaged with Attack on Titan, it was just kind of mid to me. It didn't keep me hooked.
But yeah, it was whatever. But
yeah.
I just mean from the perspective of like, tell me the exact. I saw the beginning 8 years ago. Tell me exactly what happens at the end. And I was like, shut the fuck up. That's not real.
Nope. No,
We gotta
it's real,
get out.
baby.
We gotta get
It's
away
real.
from that.
It's true.
I forgot what I interrupted before cannibalism.
What I would like to ask y'all is, in terms of output, I do like that you invoke the collage style and also the way the collaborative process works. In terms of actual output, I think what's also very interesting is how fast your turnaround on output is. To anyone at home listening, the comic book scripting process is done in a variety of ways. My personal view is that the writer, if there's a writer at all, and it's not just a comic / writer person and who does well in both disciplines, it's that the comic writer should sort of adhere to a sort of screenplay internal visualization, and then bring that to reality while having the artist heighten their sensibilities and also say what doesn't work and what would make it pop. And that is true collaboration. Now, with a massive system of artists and the ability for one ghost fruit to just do either color work or art assets and the color work in concert, and then someone else can do CGI and do dynamically employ text here or there, like kind of walk me through, if we're not peeling back too much, like what does a Ghost Fruits script look like? Is there even one, or is it how does the process go?
Yeah, maybe more like how does a whole page come together?
Excellent. Yes, Jake, like walk us through like one of your pages, because I can't imagine what gets like that comic that segment from Enemy with those little dudes on sale.
I think Micah should take this one.
Ooh.
Yeah, sure. So what'll happen a lot of the time is that Steve will message me when I'm at work or something, said, "Hey, I have an idea." And that's how it starts. Or, anybody else. There's pitches can come from anywhere, and I think one of our strengths is that we all come from can kind of do it all, or we all feel confident enough to shoot ideas to each other. But as far as scripting goes, I think the main two writers is me and James. James has been doing it for a lot longer than I have. But yeah, I would say like Steven is mostly the one who gives me ideas. Is like, hey, can you script this out? And I say, yeah. So he'll give me big beats. If there's a specific line of dialogue he wants, he'll list that out. But then from there, it's just trying to get from point A to point B. As far as like, I don't know, what I have in mind for scripting and for employing other people's hands, the only time I have that in mind is when we do a News Bros page, because it is kind of really specific the way those things come together. But as far as everything else, it's funny because I have such, I mean, it's not just that I have so much confidence, but we all have a lot of confidence in each other. So I don't really think about limitations as far as like action or pacing or the way a panel layout is going to be. I'm just kind of going, and I know that at the end, after getting so many hands on it, it's kind of do whatever it does. And after my part is over, then that was it. That was my stewardship over the project, and now it is on to the next stewards. And it creates kind of a feeling of, I wouldn't say separation from the project, but just that, I know when my part is done, and I absolutely enjoy the end part, but it's not like I have a sense of ownership of it after that. It's just kind of like enjoying what the surprise is going to be at the end. But there is kind of a convention as far as scripts go. It is kind of a weird ad hoc screenplay type thing. Sometimes I try to envision what panel dialogue would go in one panel versus two panels and do line breaks like that. But yeah, maybe somebody can pick up what happens after you get the script back. As the next step.
Yeah, is it okay if I hop on?
Hit it.
Yeah, fucking well, one thing that I wanted to annotate that Micah said is when she'll be like, yeah, like usually Steven hits me or whatever, but I get what that usually is I'm like getting that from someone else to begin with, because it's hard. It's kind of difficult for us to talk without something getting made by accident. So like I'll hang out with somebody and then like a thing will kind of form out of that. And then they'll be like, all right, can this be in like the next enemy thing? I'll be like, bet. And then I will hit one of the two people who know how to take just like goop and turn it into like scripting. And then they'll kind of do that to it. I think that the best thing in 3, like the Caterpillar Soldier thing, was formed off of like no more information than like me and Lauren were talking. I was like, Lauren, this is going to be your first book that you're in. I want to do ones that are like you centric. Give me something. And then she was like, they want the good leaves. I was like, who wants them? And she was like, they're like caterpillars. That was it. That was what we had. I brought that shit to James, and he wrote all the rest of it. And he filled in like, and there's a lizard, and they meet a lizard, and it comes whatever, and the one guy goes in. Like all that shit was like did at
Yeah,
like
man, that was so fun.
yeah.
Lauren, talk a little bit about that, or about kind of your side of that.
We were honestly just like hanging out, and I think we were like trying to design some little guys, like we were doing some back and forth, and
Yeah.
I drew this like little lizard thing, and you were like, "Oh, I fucking love that! It's so nasty." I think
Wait,
I
so
drew
is that
this-
different than the little 3D dudes that y'all made on this enemy page? The
well, that came later.
okay, that's later. Okay.
So I drew this little lizard thing, and I like put a bunch of like these weird scales on it, and Steven like thought they were like hair, and he was like, "Oh, I love this fucked up weird hairy lizard thing," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I guess." And he was like, "Okay."
Oh man.
Shit. And
Caterpillar
yeah, we were just going through little stuff like that, and there was maybe like 6 or 7 little things, and yeah, it's just like he said, we were just fucking throwing stuff at the wall, and so after that, like he went away for a while, and then like the next I saw of it, he had like completely like aborted it. Like I didn't even see the script part, and he was just like, "Hey, I redesigned the little caterpillar guys. Could you do a model of them?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And so I primarily work in 3D.
Yeah, I was wanting
yeah.
to get to the modeling, like how you got from that to the modeling.
Exactly. So usually I come in like way later, and Steven will be like, "Yo, I need a model of this," or like a model of this, and I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, I got this." I'm saying "fuck yeah" too much.
That's
And
fine.
I'll
I'll allow it.
Yeah, we allow all fuck yes.
yeah. So
So you had to model this little dude.
yeah, and yeah, it's super cool. Somebody take over. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
No,
Well,
no,
like-
everyone stare at her silently
Oh
too.
shit! No,
Just
fuck,
a
no.
just a pregnant pause too.
Everyone hand her
That's
the
the
dunce
worst
cap.
kind.
That's what's up.
I don't know. I feel like I'm taking too many of these. I don't want to be a dickhead and box the
Nah.
rest of my niggas out of the thing. But
Y'all are vibing. It's a good
Okay.
vibe.
Fucking the thing about the caterpillar deal is like like how a lot of them happen, and like an easy way to form them that I think, I mean, I guess probably anybody could use, or I don't know if our brains are just like it balanced a certain way, but if you just like make like a little like Digimon looking fucking guy, and then you show that to someone, you're like, "Hey, what does this dude do?" Like usually the answer that they give you is like you can spin like 8 pages out of that probably. You try.
That's how it happens pretty
I like
often.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened there.
Kind of the prompting of one another. I mean, it's like a certain level of improv, right? Like you're just
There's
like
a lot of free
Absolutely,
association.
absolutely.
yeah,
yes,
lot of
putting,
free
putting someone
association.
else on the spot and being like, "Hey, what's this?" And then just riffing with it.
I can kind of talk about a current
Hell
Mhm.
yeah.
piece that we're working on, which is pertinent to this particular topic. There's, there is like a large bookend narrative for the enemy books. There's a couple bookend narratives for the enemy books. There's a lot of occasionally intertwined storylines. The one that we're working on right now features the Cerberus breeder rather, but we're also like using some characters that are mentioned in some other comics that we've released already. This is the first one that I'm working on in depth. I did a couple panels for the piece about the Minotaur. I drew a couple panels of the Minotaur smashing his head into some rocks. But like there is a certain degree of improv. There's like Steven will cook up a story idea, right? And then he'll pitch it to a couple people who are writers. Like talk to James, talk to Micah, talk to Talk, who will handle a lot of storyboarding and stuff. Talked at all the boards for this one, right? And then it gets passed on to whoever wants to do this thing, or like whoever Steven asked if they want to do this thing. You know, Steven asked me if I was down to do this, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to, because it's got a guy that I really enjoy drawing in it. And then we just have the board, and we look at it, and we just do some translations, and we just chew through the translations until it's done. Fortunately for us now, part of the reason why I moved up here is to live in the same house as Micah, so that we can work together more conveniently. So this is our designated Ghost Fruits day. Actually, we do Ghost Fruits stuff every Sunday.
Oh wow.
This is our work day in our office in our house. We have an office in
Oh
here.
yeah.
And so every Sunday or whatever, I work pretty late the night prior. So after I get, I don't know, about 300 milligrams of caffeine in me and some eggs, a lot of eggs usually, I'll like kind of crawl upstairs and tell Mike I'm ready to start. And she's already woken up. She doesn't have to stay up as late as I do. So she gets an earlier start on the day usually. So I'll crawl upstairs on all fours and ask her if she's ready to work, and then we'll get to work. And then we just sit down in here, and we have this big sound bar speaker that I plug into the computer, and I've got 2 monitors as well, and Mike has got her laptop. And so we have any number of combinations of the storyboard and the script thrown up on the computer screens, and we're listening to whatever music in the background, and then we just kind of work through. This latest one that we're working on, I'm not going to reveal too much, partially because we're keeping a little bit of it from Steven. He doesn't even know everything that's going on in here. We kind of just divvy up what parts of the stuff we want to draw, and then I'll be like, oh, I want to do these guys on this page because I think it'll be fun for me. And then we'll be like, oh, well, Mike will be like, I want to do these because I think it'll be fun for me. And then it works out. We're actually making really good progress. We're like halfway through, basically.
Kyle, can I ask a question real quick on this process?
Yeah.
I need to know how you're preparing your eggs.
Usually,
God damn it.
I don't. Sometimes they get scrambled. I'm trying to learn how to do eggs really easily on a cast iron because I'm scared of the heavy metals and the non-sticks.
Oil, not butter. Oil,
Oh, you
not
shouldn't be
butter.
scared of the heavy metals and non-sticks. That can't do anything, do you? It would
I
have
do-
to get to like insanely high temperatures to give you a minor flu or a headache. It doesn't really do much.
Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. If you're scraping on the non-stick, you're going to get Teflon in your body, and it goes through the blood-brain barrier. So, which is my main concern. Also, I do use oil. Good call. I do use oil because I'm trying to minimize my dairy consumption, except for cheese, because I eat a lot of pizza. I usually eat about at least a pizza a day.
Keeps the doctor away.
That's right. It does. Pizza a day. Pizza's the doctor. Pizza the doctor away. The eggs are usually fried, and I try not to break the yolk, but it's difficult on a cast iron because we don't have like a little cast iron spatula, or excuse me, a wood spatula. We only have a wood ladle, and I don't like using the plastic head ladles, spatulas, excuse me, because they melt off, and so they all have slanted, roughed edges where you can see the black shit of the plastic has come off somewhere inside of the skillet, and I don't want to eat that.
Chopsticks. What about chopstick? Consider just doing chopsticks because that's just a bit
Using
of
a
wood.
chopstick to scrape the eggs off of the cast iron.
Yeah. No. Oh, you're in the cast iron now. Sorry, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah.
I thought we were.
No, I mean,
I was
if I
still
was
thinking
on
about the Teflon.
No, if I
I
was
thought
on the Teflon, the
was
ladle would
chemically
probably
inert in a solid state, though. I didn't think it would do anything if you're eating Teflon chips. Although you shouldn't make a habit out of it.
Why not?
Hold on.
I thought it was chemically inert.
Hold on, hold
When
on,
it's
hold on.
solid. Well, I'll eat them
Silicone.
right now. Is this what we're doing?
Silicone.
Ruben, there's only one way. You have to eat Teflon right now.
I'm gonna need a $10 reimbursement. I know our podcast ain't making money. but I'll
Francine
do
ate
it.
raw cheese, but you won't eat Teflon.
Yeah,
But that's
wow. Yeah, wow.
Raw
Excellent.
cheese
Well
isn't
said.
real.
Well said.
You have to cook milk to make cheese. It's a cooked product.
I'm
It's
hearing a
not
whole lot of
fucking real
excuses.
concept.
I'm hearing a whole lot of excuses.
Oh
Ruben,
my
you
God.
could be
Something else
you
on.
could be the new Teflon.
Oh,
dog.
what kind of
How
oil are
dare
you
you
using?
stand where she stood?
Whatever oil we've got. So
You're not a
vegetable
fan of
oil
like
or
a specific
olive
kind of
oil.
oil? That's what's on hand. What
I mean,
kind
if
of
you're
olive
using it,
oil?
if
are
you're
you
using it to cook an egg, it's not gonna do a ton. Just use regular canola oil.
Well,
corn
corn
oil.
oil is just like it's super. Corn oil and corn oil are pretty trash. I was gonna just advocate for some nice olive oil, but you need
Well,
to
I'm
Yeah,
avoid
not doing.
like
I'm not
olive
doing
milk.
it for
To
the.
be
I'm not
clear.
doing it for the experience. I'm doing it for the nutrients.
And
But you
the
can also get
unstick-
nutrients from the oil. If you're eating like a corn oil, you don't want none of that in your body. That doesn't really do anything. It just gives you butt leaks.
It's a
what
very
I'm saying?
I don't have that experience actually. Typically from the corn oil. I'm not getting a lot of butt leaks.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna
that's a
it's gonna
Ruben
happen.
problem.
It's gonna catch
That
up to you.
sounds like a Reuben problem actually.
Yes. I think,
Yeah, if we wanna
I think
talk
we've
about
learned
my-
I think we've learned a little bit about Ruben's corn eating habits today.
If you want
Yeah,
my
maybe
corn
you-
eating
Yeah, maybe you should eat less corn, Reuben, and
Hey,
it might not leak out of
wait.
your butt.
Have you been eating more frozen corn, Ruben?
No, I haven't got more into frozen corn. I tried it one more time as like maybe it is a fun anytime snack, and it's still as okay as it tastes, but it's not a fun experience to me. I think you really have to grow up with that to really consider
It's-
the tech
I mean, yeah, it's just
viable.
it's just like, oh, I'm in the freezer, might as well eat a little bit of corn.
Yeah, I don't,
Sneak a little corn bite. Look to your
Oh,
left. Look to your right.
you're eating the corn kernels frozen.
We just
right
yeah,
out, yeah, right out of the freezer.
we
Just
had
pop
a-
'em like
we had a
popsicle.
moment on our show previously where our other host and I were discussing how we like to eat
That was
frozen
the
corn.
Francine episode, actually. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
somehow that came to light that was a good time.
And we
And,
Ruben was like,
get a
"You're
live
shitting
demo.
me. There's no way that eating a frozen kernel of corn is good." And then we
Yeah,
got
I
into
thought it was like
Ruben on
I
the
thought it
podcast.
was like a raw cheeser kind of ideology of eating frozen corn, but it turns out it's kind of legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This
we
has been
do the
Ruben's
pages,
snack
and
hour.
then
Thank you so much, pal.
anyway, we draw the pages, and then I still haven't really figured out how to do tablet stuff. I haven't taken the time to develop the hand-eye coordination necessary to get really comfortable doing digital inking. So all the art that I do is just pen and pencil and paper, and very occasionally some sort of like marker or something. I haven't painted anything in, I don't know, 10 years probably. Maybe like 8 or 9 years. But after we,
Why don't you paint anymore, pal?
it's expensive and difficult. And I've spent 19 years learning how to draw with a pencil, and so I haven't taken hardly any time to learn how to paint. So anyway,
Getting
Yeah.
into a particular medium, or was it just kind of
Yeah, the pencil.
Painting's fun. No, I mean for the painting part, where you like acrylic oils is going to be where it's at, and then you kind of just fell off.
no, I had to do it for school. I had in Texas several years ago. I've spent most of my life in Texas. They made art classes mandatory high school credits. So I took I don't know, 3 art classes, and I had to paint for one of them. So I did some acrylic painting, and I don't even know if I did any oil painting. I don't remember hardly. Hated the class,
Probably not.
blocked most of it
Probably
out. I
not
don't
helpful.
actually remember a lot of most of my high school years. So I probably could if I tried, but I'm not trying very hard. So anyway, and also it's expensive, and it costs a lot more and requires a lot more setup and attention and everything than drawing does.
It's a real paint in the ass.
Fuck you.
That's right.
Fuck you.
No, no,
What were you thinking?
no.
The
Stop.
other thing is that there's the result is more direct and requires like fewer transmutations from with regards to drawing with a pencil or a pen. And you put the pencil down, and that's just what it looks like. It doesn't really do a lot of transforming afterwards or prior. Painting requires a lot of playing with the paint. When I'm drawing something, and I'm like, oh, I want it to look this way. I imagine in my head what it looks like as a drawing, and then I just copy that, which makes drawing really easy.
That's a very accurate way to describe like being good at drawing, but that's also a really funny way to like just tell someone to just imagine it in your head and fucking draw it. Dipshit.
Yeah, I mean that is it is super. It actually really is that simple.
Yeah,
You just have to. The part that takes all the time is figuring out that you can do that. But then figuring out. Yeah, I mean you do have to figure out. When you're imagining, you have to get good at imagining the drawing.
You have to align your muscles with your imagination.
Yeah, but as long as you're, as long as you can imagine what the drawing looks like, accurately, what the finished product is going to look like, then you're fine. Like I've spent a lot of time drawing under the influence of psychedelic drugs, and that's a lot of fun because I don't even have to hardly do any of the prior imagining. I can just trace the hallucination on the page, and that saves me a lot of time.
Do you need like a tracing table for that, or is it really just as easy as it sounds? Kind of like drawing on like a phone or a tablet.
Reference.
No, a tracing tape. No, for the hallucinations.
Yeah, Ruben.
Yeah.
No, they come out of my brain.
Yeah.
So,
You're hallucinating.
yeah, under the influence of the psychedelic drugs that I mentioned.
Them good old things.
So I'll take drugs, and then I'll start to have hallucinations, and then if it's something that I want to draw, I'll just look at a sheet of paper while I'm hallucinating, and then I'll trace what I can see.
There are static images that you hallucinate.
Well,
I mean, no, they're definitely not static, but
yeah, Ruben, just do mushrooms.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I do that. I'm straight edge for life. Never doing any drugs.
Well,
anyway, so retracing after the page is inked. Typically what happens is I'll run up the street to the I'm giving you too many details about the geography of my house. I will run up any number of streets, who can say
the street. Ho ho ho.
To a FedEx. Ever since I can't go to the Kinkos. They bought out the Kinkos, so there's no Kinkos anymore.
They're all FedEx Kinkos, yeah.
Yeah, and I think now they're just FedExes.
Oh, that makes yeah.
But they used to be FedEx Kinkos, and now I think they're just FedExes.
I see.
Anyway, I just go up to the FedEx, and then I pay an obscene price to get it scanned through the big scanner, because I'm usually drawing on what is it? I think it's 18 by 24 sheets typically.
Okay.
And so I'll run up the street and I'll scan them, and then I'll be like, "Hey, Steven, look at this," and then I'll send it to Steven. And Steven is talking about his skills in production. Steven is really talented at image manipulation with all kinds of stuff. So he's really good at peeling off a bunch of static from the image, and it's really great. It's really exciting because I have had issues working with people in the past who've offered to edit my stuff in post, and they're like, "Oh, there's lots of little lines here," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. Put them all in there." And sometimes I'm sure it can be frustrating. I don't ever do any of that stuff, so I'm not speaking with holistic perspective in this regard. But Steven is really good at figuring out where all the little lines are supposed to be, and he's really good at cleaning up all the junk that I don't want in there, and intuiting what I want it to look like. That's another reason that it's so much fun for me to work with Steven, is because I also really like comic books, and that's why I'm here at all, is because it means that I get to make comic books. So I mean, that's not the only reason, but the opportunity to make comic books is pretty great. I do some stuff on my own that's outside of, I do a little bit of writing, and I've done some comic books for myself, by myself, basically. But getting to make comic books that I have a book in my house of comic books that are Ghost Fruits comic books. I have an issue of Enemy 1, a physical copy that I'm not in, actually, but it's like, oh wow, I am in the next one. That's pretty exciting. Or I'm in the next one after that.
I did want to jump in to clarify that, like, Powell and Francine and Lauren came after we made the first one, and it's not like we just kicked niggas off it. It wasn't like Powell just wasn't invited to one.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I assumed as much, that it was just a time thing.
I was drawing too many huge leaking penises, and they're like, "Hey, we can't put this one in this issue. We have to."
And we were going
Wait,
to.
Did you say you were drawing huge dripping hogs?
Yeah, big, huge dripping hogs. I lifted a bunch of dripping hog drawings from the borders of the margins of high school homework and stuff like that, and was like, can I put this in the first issue? And they're like, yeah. And then I was like, okay. And then they didn't, and it was like this huge issue, and I was like, "Where's well, you guys left out the dripping hogs that I did for the comic book?"
It's funny you bring that up because there is another person in Ghost Fruits who we didn't mention it, and it's a contractor who we have, up in North Dakota that all of us, compulsively draw huge dripping hogs on, and it's their job to, do some post processing before the book gets made and to just, tastefully edit them all out.
Yeah, which is kind of a huge pain in the ass to me, but
It's a
it's
very
like
noble job of that noble.
Very
individual.
very thankless, honestly. if we're
Yeah.
being-
Steven, who's the guy? Was it an X-Men guy?
Well, oh, I know what you're talking about, but not well enough to speak on it.
There's some guy. Steven and I are always like, wow, wouldn't it be funny if we smoked cigars over light desks in the 60s with our cute hairy arms hunched over, and we're like, I got coffee rings on my Spider-Man. We want to be Ditko really bad without, well, maybe not Ditko specifically, but
Yeah, Ditko-esque.
Ditko.
You were gonna say like without being a weird freak, and then you started thinking about
Without
kind of
Ayn
what's
Rand.
left, and you weren't that like.
Yeah.
Type
So
it's kind of
we
the
want
process I just
to
watched
be
happen.
we want to be some Silver Age. We would like to be some Silver Age comic guys. In the 60s and stuff. I think it'd be really funny to be bitching and moaning about Stan Lee all the time.
Yeah, you want a big
while he's-
mustache and shit.
While he's alive in the next room, I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah, I like when it was like Foreman shit. Like at the time, it was like very much like there's this like fucking audiobook that we listened to like about like what it was to like make comics at the time or whatever. And it's like a dude who like was like a contractor and then just was like gotten like a big fist fight with his boss and was like, I'm off of this. And then he like walked down the street to where like the Marvel offices were, and he was like, I can move a pencil around. And they let him do like fucking like 7 years of like
Yeah,
Namor.
it's
Like
a different time.
So
Yeah.
we bring this up because there's a guy who because in Ditko-esque fashion, there a lot of guys that make comic books are freaks, and they're just huge freaks, and they can't always control how much of a huge freak they are. And there's this guy who was just like drawing boobs and pussies on all of these guys and wieners and stuff, and he'd like send the pencils in, and the inker would be like, oh my fucking God, again, you drew the nipples on these guys. You drew.
and he
pussy
would be
lips on-
like, well, then just don't ink them. That's what you're here for. Just
Yeah,
don't
and-
do that part.
yeah, and it's like, so why did you why did you do that? That's just for you. That's just
He did
you
it for
just want-
himself.
And the answer is yeah, he definitely
Yeah.
was just getting off on drawing them, because if you are in this time or whatever, back in the day, you were doing this ungodly amounts of time. You didn't have time. That's part of why these guys end up as freaks, is because they look at paper all day instead of going out and talking to people and stuff. So he's like, yeah, he's probably not getting a lot of boob and vagina action in real life, so he's got to engineer boob and vagina action on the page.
Damn, well said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'd imagine that's an art. That's a struggle of many an illustrator.
Absolutely. Anyway, so back one more time. I scan these things, and I pay probably, I don't know, $6 a pop per page, which is pretty frustrating. And I scan these and I send them to
I
Steve.
know you were doing all that. We got to get you one of those scanners.
What, a huge
cost.
one? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll talk shop later. But
Okay. I'm just finding out now that you're paying $6 to do that every time, and I feel like a dickhead now.
yeah, well, I go in there. I'm like, man, I hate having to do this, but my draconian tyrant boss is forcing me to scan it like this. And the guy's like, oh, we have like a free one that jacks you off and sucks your balls over here for free that you can use, and it's free.
They got that FedEx money now.
They got that FedEx money now, and I'm like, no, I'll do the shitty $6 one that kicks me in the ass every time.
I think you
All
should
right.
use the other one.
All right, it's 1 drop of blood per inch or whatever, per square inch. I'm like, fine. Anyway, I scan those and I send them to Steven, and I'm like, hey, there's this page. And Steven's like, wow, that's crazy. And then he fixes it up, and then he sends it back to me, and he's like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And we go back and forth telling each other, wow, that's crazy, until it's done. Which is, from what I understand, basically how every other aspect of the outfit works is people going,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy, back and forth over and over until it's done.
Damn.
Can confirm.
Damn, that's wild.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's really good. This Michelle just put in the chat, Jake, break time check. That's a great place for us to break if y'all want to take a quick one, and then we can do a little bit more if you're good.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I think y'all get a thing. It doesn't show me anything like that. When
Everyone
I click
gets
it.
a thing.
When I click it,
thing,
when I click it, I get a very small indicator in the corner that barely lets me know I clicked a button, and that's my UI review of Zoom.
I wrote that down.
Yeah.
That's what's
Get
up.
that to the top, Zoom.
So we were just
people.
discussing if you go to Little Caesars, you have to order ahead and get the extra most bestest pizza. It's $1 more than a hot and ready pizza, and I get the nacho cheese to dunk it in because it's more cheese and it's nice. You can dunk your crusts in it.
That's insane. Hey, I just want to let you know. Hey, I just want to let you know the idea of like, oh, it's more cheese doesn't apply. That's if you
It's a
make
different
like
cheese.
Yo,
Okay,
hey, what were you blaming for your butt leaks earlier, by the way?
Yeah.
like
Wait a
mayonnaise.
second.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Hold on. With
Listen.
a certain
Subway,
amount
and
of
then I
cheese.
just dip it
Listen,
in
I don't
nacho
eat that
cheese.
much
You know,
pizza.
more cheese.
Just because I dunk pizza in nacho cheese, you don't have to judge me for being Mexican. That's kind of hateful. I eat a good diet. I eat a lot of
Nacho
green
cheese
beans
is,
and broccoli. I eat a lot of tofu. My meat consumption has dropped 50%. I would be eating tofu 3 to 4 days out of the week. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Nacho cheese is a Texas thing, by the way. That's a Tex-Mex thing, not an original Mexican thing.
I thought Mexico was Texas before, it got annexed. Is that the word?
No, they actually
Xanax.
Texas actually seceded from Mexico, which is why all the stuff with the Alamo happened. Annexation would. Yeah, annexation is the.
Doesn't sound
inverse
like
word.
Mexicans seceded from Mexico then.
Well, they
I'm not
were
threading the
Mexican.
needle.
They were Mexicans like while before they seceded. So
Ruben,
not-
you can't just say
not
Mexican
ethnically.
when we question your dipping your
If you're
pizza in
Texas, you're not
nacho
Mexican.
cheese.
Ruben, don't listen to anyone. You can always say Mexican anytime anyone chooses
Mexicans
to-
invented nacho
chooses to
cheese.
critique any
You
of your
wouldn't have any
choices.
of the tech. You wouldn't have the salsa. You wouldn't have the queso. It's not a Texas product. I'm reclaiming everything California and Texas have ever made.
Sure. Let me try it from this angle. I go to Subway and then I crack open a thing of cottage cheese and I dip it in and I take a bite. It's more cheese.
They have cottage cheese at Subway?
I'm a
Cottage cheese is good, and cottage cheese has yummy, good for you.
I wasn't saying it wasn't good. I was saying that the more cheese rule doesn't stand. Who's who? Is it me and you, or is it you and them? Which way is this one going?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Okay.
Man.
Well then, fuck. Well then, be here.
I'm on you.
So what if you had like a
Alright.
veggie delight sub
I'm
and
on
you dip
you
it
like
in cottage
white on
cheese?
rice.
That's not what you said. You didn't say the pizza was geared around it. You said any old motherfucking pizza. You'll
I'm
dip
talking
that
about
shit
your
in nacho
Subway
cheese.
situation.
That was an analogy to what you said. I wouldn't do that.
Why
'cause I'm
couldn't
not a
it be
boss.
something that's real? Why do you have to make up fake shit? It sounds like you're making
Because
up
it's
a
not what we're
sandwich to
talking
get
about.
mad at.
Because he's
I'm
doing
not making up to get mad at. I'm
he's
saying
spinning
the
this
basis for
analogy
use.
to
Oh my
illustrate how silly the nacho cheese is.
Bow.
We're in hour 4.
This
of the
sounds
Go-
oddly hateful.
Dipping
hour
pizza in nacho cheese is a cross-cultural exploration. I think it's just fusion. I think
Ruben
it's
made
fusion.
It's
Exactly.
also
Exactly.
convenient.
now.
They have the cheese at
It's Italian.
Little Caesars
It's
in
Italian
packets.
Mexican fusion.
That's
You
right.
can't just be gross and then find cool names for it. You can't reverse engineer
America-
reasons out of the
America
repugnant decisions
absolutely
Steven made.
disagrees with that statement.
Yeah, I was about
America
to
says
say.
you can absolutely be gross and find
Yeah,
cool
and
names for it.
everyone loves when they do that, right?
It
We
turns
have
out
a double
Ruben is
down.
actually the guy that runs
You-
those fucked up
You just
Instagram
described.
accounts.
You just described the double down. It is
Which
a gross thing
everyone
with a cool
loves.
name.
Right, the double
It's a
down, which
sick name,
all of us
though.
agree is the
Oh, no.
center of what we respect about food, right?
It's true.
Oh.
It is.
Hmm.
It is a sandwich made of meat.
Steven, they're not
Listen,
reading everything.
It's a
They're not
solid
reading everything
cheese
you're
on the
putting down.
pizza, and then you have a liquid cheese to dip it in that
Niggas
tastes
tripping.
different.
Why-
It's two
what's-
different cheese vectors. In the same way that you would have to have anti-air guns with the guns at different heights, so you have
Oh
a
my
wider range
God.
of fire. You're
Man,
hitting.
you are
different
way,
cheese
Oh,
you're
oh my
spinning
God.
way out of control.
No,
Your
no.
own people. Your own people.
This is what we pay. This is basically why we have him show up. To be fair, I guess he's
no.
doing.
Okay.
I would no. I would. What I would say is, I'm
It always
okay.
comes back to anti-air replacements
I'm-
with you.
Yeah. What I would
Wait,
say.
what? What? Wait, what?
Not just anti-air emplacements. It's also on like biplanes. You
Oh,
want a
I
quad stack
heard.
guns.
I heard
You don't want them in
anti-air
a horizontal
replacements.
line.
Whew.
I was like, Lauren, what?
No. I would say dipping rules are. I wouldn't dip the meat and the cheese as is the way of the sicko now, especially the garlic thing, like
We were
garlic and
discussing
butter.
garlic butter before
yeah.
we began recording again.
It's intense. It's intense. Like I don't do that. My heart just feels clogged afterwards. However, if it's just the crust, I think it's anyone's game. It's you dip it in
Even with
something.
nacho cheese.
If conditionally, if
What are you
it's
saying?
the only thing you're dipping.
These are
with.
different fucking things. That's not real butter in the fucking in the shelf
What if-
stable
You think
packaging.
that you
In
think
the
that's
Carl's
real?
Jr. ranch packets. It's not.
But it is
fucking
real
butter, though.
nacho cheese, right?
This is real nacho cheese though, which is to say it is flavored and orange
Okay. but
like
even if
nacho.
you're-
Oh my
even if you're only
God.
doing the crust, you've just had an experience of pizza that's still in your mouth. You get done immediately with the pizza. You're like, oh, I'm gonna invite nacho cheese into the situation.
Hey, whoa! You're
Also, even if you get
oversimplifying.
past that,
You're
even if you get
oversimplifying.
past that, who just dips bread in
You're
nacho cheese?
oversimplifying.
There's
I
no-
could
Okay,
take,
then complicate
Yeah.
it for me.
I
There's
could
no
take a
congruency
sip of
here.
my
You don't have
sparkling
any- You
water.
don't have any continuity because you're like, oh, it's nacho cheese because it looks like
It's two
nacho
notes.
cheese, but it's not butter just because it looks like butter. Where is the line drawn?
Everybody,
what's the
everybody
medium?
needs to get their own cheese here. First of all,
What Michelle said is also not what you were doing. You've now glommed onto her thing because you realize your shit
Yeah,
was sinking.
I've
and
got-
now you're
I've
trying to
got-
talk about crust.
I've got yeah.
No,
But
he said
I'm a-
crust. He said
I'm
crust.
very-
He
I said
absolutely said
crust. It's all a part of the experience. You
Here-
It's solely
it's
here
not
I was-
separate. You don't eat the pizza only with the nacho. You can choose. You could dip the pizza sometimes. I dip the tip of the slice sometimes in the nacho cheese.
That's
You-
okay. So now we're back. to
Also
what
the
I'm
crust.
talking about.
How soon we
So my
forget?
biggest
No, yeah, that
influence
does
is as
happen.
an
I didn't say that
artist.
doesn't happen.
How soon we
It's both,
forget?
though.
How soon we forget that at one point there were only like really two dips you could do. There was like an excessive marinara dip, and there was the garlic butter dip. At one point in time, in the late '90s to after September 11th, you could dip in ranch. You could dip in ranch.
People
No, the
still do
ranch
that,
is-
Michelle.
ranch is
People
still-
They
ranch
still
is
do it.
hot.
They still
Ranch
do
is
it.
still hot.
Yeah,
from
that's
New
American.
Mexico, from at least New Mexico to Washington State. Both I've worked in pizza
Yeah.
places at both.
But we
and,
didn't start with
From
ranch.
Atlanta,
We didn't-
Georgia to Seattle, Washington. I've seen
I started
motherfuckers
at- I
dip,
started at
dip in ranch.
And that's hip to shoulder and cleft and twain. You're looking at a broad ranch usage.
But like there were
Wide ranch spectrum.
there were dissenters because it's like, why are you introducing dairy? We've got dairy covered.
I mean, yeah,
It's
I
all
don't,
over the pizza.
I don't personally enjoy ranch.
Well, part of why that was introduced is to do damage control for the failing dairy industry, which is why the U.S. Ad Council introduced the Got Milk ad campaign.
That's
is-
what's
is-
up.
Is to combat the rise of veganism in Y2K era millennials and stuff like that, which is redundant, I guess, right? All millennials are Y2K era people. But,
Yeah.
The
Yes.
got milk stuff and the rise of extra cheesy mega cheese type shit was to combat the rise of veganism and because people are like, wow, wait a minute, the milk looks like that because you bleach it.
And it's fucked up because the way food subsidies work in the country, they're trying to constantly sell you something where the price is like on an upward arc. Like,
That's also why the entirely astroturf like nerd geek culture bacon craze happened, right? Is because
Yes.
massive mountains of bacon surplus. That's why I think geeks started pushing all that shit, is because they're bought out, they're paid off. It's the astroturf and interest in like a cultural shift towards bacon and surplus dairy products, which is also what ranch is, right? Ranch is designed to minimize waste. Ranch is buttermilk and all sorts of other gunk that got scraped out of the bottom of the milk barrel or whatever in the milk.
but every
vats.
time there's gunk, like you said, cottage cheese earlier. So what does the gunk bring to the table? Well, you got that
Cottage cheese is ancient.
but you got that tang, but you have that tang.
That's true.
So like it being introduced alongside, Subway or whatever. Yeah, it's super old, but you have a little bit of tanginess with it with a dairy product. Like it's fucking ace in the hole. But with nacho cheese,
That's Velveeta. And
we've got 4 to 5 years until like maybe Reuben is the default.
American
Just now.
cheese, you know.
Hey, I hate this is
Nacho
never me.
cheese.
This is
Nacho-
never me. You know, Steven can attest to this. I'm never doing this, but should we rein this in?
Yeah, that is
No.
a first for Powell, but
No.
maybe, yeah.
No,
I'm,
your
no.
call.
I'm letting it
Ranch
fly
dressing.
because it's just
cooking.
kind of
You're
it's kind of
cooking.
interesting. But y'all feel free to change the subject.
I mean, if
No.
y'all want to stay here, I'll stay here.
I wasn't sure how to segue out of it, so I was just letting it cook. But hey, now we made it. Now we made it.
Italian
Don't
dressing
ask another
overtaken
fucking
by
question.
ranch. What about that?
I'm gonna
No one's
shoot.
asking
the
real
face.
question.
No.
Everyone, look away. Look away.
I'm gonna
This
shoot.
is-
I'm gonna shoot my
It's
boy.
it's for the good of the show. Ruben, we love you.
No. I'd say as a final sort of coda, I think Ruben's nacho cheese dipping 4 to 6 years from now will be a default posture as far as the long arc of dairy goes. Like,
Doesn't make it right though. you know?
look, like, all progress is progress. Now, is it the progress in the direction we'd like it to be? Not necessarily. However, it's progress nonetheless. In my heart of hearts, I would love way more agrarian living. And so like, I wonder how to square that with like taste sensations. That said,
You're gonna have to do like a mouse style elimination of people like Ruben.
duly noted. I'm writing that down. When we say mouse, is it like a mouse or like
No, mouse style.
Mouse.
Michelle.
no.
Mouse
No.
style.
Get the
Jeremy.
tomatoes out of your ears.
Jesus Christ, yeah, no. Partially deaf in one ear. I'm like,
It's
please.
from all that dairy you're eeating.
Yeah,
it's
there it
far
is. There it
It's all that
is.
cheese. It's all that nacho cheese.
Fucking Christ. For the record, to the listeners at home, I have not consumed nacho cheese with pizza in that context. I have had pizzas that were novelty style pizzas that did incorporate nacho cheese, but
I used
was
to be a
not
cheese whiz
alongside.
guy.
Yeah,
Get
there
that
it
pretzel
is.
pizza, and then instead of
There
tomato
it
sauce,
is.
nacho
There it
cheese.
is. There it is. Yes. I did it in reverse. I fucking reversed that whole deal. Yeah, you dip that in marinara.
You
It's
dipped
like,
it in marinara? What do you mean?
yeah, you just looked around confused, like, am I supposed to be doing this? Is it legal? And that's where we're at. In terms of output that you folks have done, Ruben actually owns one of your jackets. It
Yes, I was waiting
looks pretty
for the jackets
fresh.
to come up.
Oh, I didn't know Ruben was an owner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bought the Meteor V2. I don't know the name exactly. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
No, I
It's a
remember.
great jacket. Let me go put it on, and I'll commentate me putting it on.
all right.
So you know, everyone-
Yeah, we're gonna do a review of the week style cloth feel. In terms
He's going to get entirely too into that.
that is
Everyone has
just
so much
got- we
faith in
just-
Ruben in this chat. That's so
We
fun.
just spent 15 minutes on pizza. We cannot bring report of the week into this.
no, it's fine.
All right,
What's up?
I'm in the jacket.
All right, good job. In terms of clothing, in terms of clothing and what
You
you
know
guys,
what? That was a good bit.
in
Well done.
terms of clothing and what you guys would like to put out, beyond like jackets or whatever. What's your what do you guys sort of mesh on in terms of
Well,
style and aesthetic?
that's funny. That kind of ties into sort of what I was talking about prior about collaborative efforts. My actual first contribution was ended up being on some t-shirts and sweaters. A bunch of my friends have them actually, and so I get really excited whenever they're wearing them. I did a rendition of the Mimic, and Steven was like, hey, I love this. And this was actually before I was officially in the outfit, right? This is Steven and I have been buddies for many years. I started talking to him on Tumblr, and because I found I was in love with this comic strip that he had done that is unfortunately, I think, lost to time.
Are you talking about Murder Mouth?
I'm talking about Murder Mouth.
Yeah, that
And
one
we
was
have
fun.
we've spent a lot of time digging for it, and it is gone, which is tragic to me. But I've done a lot of Murder Mouth art, and I've done like 4 or 5 pages of a Murder Mouth storyboard that is going to happen eventually. But I was like, wow, this is so cool. Murder Mouth, quick aside, Murder Mouth is like a anti-hero type character. He wears a t-shirt and basketball shorts, and I threw some like some thermal leggings on him, and he's got a big afro, and he's got a nasty grill, and he fights this guy who might actually be Murder Mouth instead. I don't really remember which of these guys is Murder Mouth, because
I think it's that guy.
Is the bad
The
guy?
guy with the guy with the big hinge trap.
Okay, there's a big giant evil Marcellus Wallace Suge Knight type super villain character who has like, he's dressed like Bison without a hat, you know, and he has this huge giant metal jaw like a guy from Dick Tracy basically.
Yeah, or like a He-Man trap jaw situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just a big nasty evil villain guy. And the premise of the comic, that from what the two of us have been able to remember in unison, is that the hero guy is like the last hero guy, and he has to go up against Murder Mouth and his evil bad guys or whatever. But I was in love with this comic. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And so I started talking, because I use Tumblr a lot, as I can guess most people in here did. And so we've just been talking, you know, back and forth a lot. And you know, down the line, I met a couple other people through like a Discord channel that was in like the same sort of you know, adjacent to the GHOSTFRUITS like cabal or whatever. It was just like people in that, you know, adjacent to that social circle and stuff, and you know, started talking or whatever. And I was like, wow, the Mimic, what a cool idea, because I saw a bunch of the graphic designs that like Mike had worked on, where it looks like you know, like a Venom label or something, you know, that you see on the tank, on a snake's tank at the zoo or something. And I was like, wow, great design, because it is a brilliant design. And I was like, I want to draw this guy. So I drew this Mimic design, and I sent it to Steven, and he did this fantastic work cleaning up all the static on the page, because there's lots of lines, because there's a robe involved and a machine gun and stuff. And Steven was like, this is great, can I put this on a shirt? And I was like, yeah, I would love you to put it on a shirt. And then I actually, I don't have it on a shirt, by the way. I don't have it on a shirt. I'd like that on a, Steven, write this down, like that on a little crew neck, please.
Like,
and
I got it,
and but that was like the first direct actual collaboration that I had produced anything for. Before that, I think I dressed up in some clothes.
Oh yeah, if I can,
did a little modeling.
Yeah, I did.
If I can speak to that, the conversation that got had was like, when people stopped using Tumblr and we made the jump to Twitter, I would see Powell on it just doing wild shit. He would like make a burger and be like listening to like the song from The Matrix, and then he'd be like eating the burger, and it looked like he was having a fucking cool time, and he had a cool life. He was like a cool guy, and I was like, this nigga fucking rules, and I want to do something with this dude. But as far as I could tell, all he does is like chill, but like I don't know. And so I hit him and I was like, yo, we've been talking
Club to Death, the Rob Curiamino version is what it is, the Matrix song he's talking about. That's real. That's
yeah, that was not a random example. Those are a series of 3 videos that Powell really did make and that I did see and sent to Micah before Micah even knew who Powell was. And I was like, this dude is wild as fuck. And I hit him and I was like, yo, can we like send you some shit and you just like exist in them and you send me like pictures of it so that we can use to like tell people things and whatever. And he was like, yeah. Come to find out, like a year later, he's like tremendously a better artist than me and just didn't mention that he drew at all. And there was no evidence of it on his Twitter, or else I probably would have just asked to do that. But
that's actually so you were like, you weren't even like a person who was like tweeting about your art or whatever. You just got hit up
No,
by
I
Steven.
don't usually.
Yeah, you just got hit up by Steven and we're like, oh, cool, man.
yeah, he just
well,
had
'cause I like-
flavor.
I just like the stuff, and I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
hey, I like this stuff. And so Steven was like, off of my flavor, I guess, was like, get some of this, do some of this.
All right. Yeah, a lot of the look of the clothing, I guess in fashion terms, it'd be kind of thought of as like, say, and I know I might be fucking botching this, but it's like menswear sort of, like it's even if there's
It's
an
just for
androgynous-
men. That's right. It is just men's clothing.
No. It's
We
like
don't do any
menswear.
sissy bullshit. No
You're gonna like
skirts,
the way
no
you look.
dresses, nothing like that.
Yeah.
We don't do fitted baby doll tees. We don't do no brassieres or anything. That's for women.
Like it at Zenith, it could be like quasi androgynous, based on like what it's
Not
incorporated
violent to
into.
say about it.
But
Honestly,
yeah.
like we've got the comment that I can't remember who it was. It was a friend of mine or something that said that Ghost Fruits is perfect non-binary fashion. I was like,
It is,
"Ooh,
yeah.
I'd
I
do that."
mean,
yeah.
well, no,
Let's go
because
always
in terms
Because they
of
won't let me
that,
put any more monster trucks on it, but I'm
I
trying.
We gotta put more on there.
I can't comment in the first person, but if there's a sort of, if there's ever one that's riffed upon or like given shit, it's like sort of the weird wood nymph slash fantasy slash bordering on costume look, whereas this is like, if you look at a lot of her clothing, folks, it seems more focused on the sort of print and also sort of visually striking eyesore sort of sticks out in a room quality, which is not. It's like 4 steps beyond the Hype Beast, where it looks like its own thing. I think it's very nice.
And is it okay if I jump in real quick? And
Yes.
just
Yes.
I can do this real
Also,
quick.
Ruben, mute when you're moving around like that.
You're in
All right,
trouble
I'm still in
now.
the jacket.
Just gonna sneak that in there.
No, waving
I'm
the finger.
stealing from Bape. That's it.
Yeah.
I look at Bape and I'm like,
Hey.
oh, that's fucking crazy. What if we did that for us? I just like Bape a lot. I like the Nego
I mean,
guy
yeah.
from Bape a lot. I'm just doing that bit. 100%.
Shout outs to Babe. You know?
Shout out to Bape.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
Nego,
that.
if you're listening to this, you're not, but if you learn a language and the first thing that you decide to do with it is to listen to this podcast, I'm stealing from you. So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
No, that's a great deal. If not most art, in some way is being derived from other things, and so yeah, it's unavoidable to air quote steal. So it's
Yeah. I mean,
that's fine.
I mean, I that's like an oversimplification,
Bape,
I guess, but it's
Bape is like I've looked at some of the prints and like in the back of my head, it's like a kill phrase, like Shin Fubu is basically some of the shit.
Yeah, actually,
It's like, what if Fubu incorporated prints into their shit?
Shin
That's Bape.
Fubu is a really good way to articulate Bape.
That's the only way I can think of it, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think what it is more like just the thing that I'm stealing from Bape, rather than there being like any analogous pieces or whatever, is that I like it's very like for being like a brand that has like as much shit going into it or whatever, it's like real hype on like bootlegging shit, like deliberately, like fucking
Yes.
Yeah, the patent for the Air Force One, there was like a brief period in like 2001, 2002, where that like lapsed and fucked up. And Bape went into production on making like exactly that, but like a bunch of the shit was like different. And that just
like the stars and shit, right?
Yeah, the Bapesters. And that's fucking hard as fuck. And then they started making like these watches that were really nice, that are just like kind of biting a Rolex, but then adding a bunch of shit. Like, I don't know. There's like, I think it's like probably always moral to scrape from like the very, very top of the top like that. And I think that more than I'm stealing from Bape, I guess it's more that I'm stealing an ethos that it seems like Bape has, to where it's like, I used to watch these like videos where that guy would like give you a tour of his house. And all of it was Bape shit, like all of his shit was Bape. And it kind of, the impression that I kind of got from it was that he would like look at all of the items he had in his life. And he was like, oh, I like want that, but it's like my thing. And then he would make it. And ideally, I guess that would be the deal for me, where it's like, if I have gloves that I like pretty well, but they're like, I would rather be able to put all my shit on them and have them be perfect for like my flow. And I guess that's what the intent is to make. Yeah.
It's funny you mention Air Force Ones and Nike. An article I was reading recently from Input Mag is one where it's basically about Nike ramping up lawsuits. The Lil Nas X thing recently with the custom designed Nikes, the satanic ones or whatever, is actually part of a sort of long-term response to that original litigation. There's a guy, Warren Lotus, who kind of has done custom takes on the sort of format of the shoe, but Nike has been sort of arguing that the proprietary design is like their intellectual property, even though like Warren Lotus's design it deviates a whole shit ton right down to having a completely different logo. And it's interesting, like sort of that you mentioned pulling from it in that way. Like, I don't know if your actual clothing articles like bite the physical frame of it or whatever, or like all the stitching, etc., all those minuscule bits I'm not even gonna fucking pretend I know about. But like I do like that sort of bootleg-ish slash clearly derived from an original point of reference. Like there's one ceiling for any new work I'm gonna have to be mindful of. If I do anything post the pervert where I use some of the characters, Remy and I kind of basically have the agreement where we kind of co-parent our intellectual property, so we're both free to work on that as long as we are vocal and talk it out between the two of us. And like Remy's thing is sort of quite a few of the characters she drawn have a striking resemblance to existing intellectual property, shall we say? But it's sort of reinterpreting that, and it was, I think a lot of it was what drawn me to you guys and your early work and you know, your current output to this day. In terms of future output, I'm looking at some of your collected stuff, your 80 pagers and stuff, which are basically like, God, I'm trying to think of, it's like an 80-page giant is what they would call it in traditional,
Yes.
you know, in traditional comics.
A very
issue.
thick, yes, a very thick single length issue.
Yeah. And
big old fat boy.
Like, what in terms of your future comic output, do you ever see yourself looking at, say, like big publishing, or at the very least like sort of a big graphic novel? Do you think that's something in your wheelhouse, or is this format like, this is what works for us, and this is like where we're at, and this is how we feel at the moment.
Can I grab this one?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
please.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah, we got plans. Yeah, one of the things that Stephen and I talked about a minute, and now all of us are kind of on the same page for, and what Powell referenced earlier with Mimic is we want to 9 people is a fucking battleship to try to maneuver to get towards one thing, and it's also a lot of people to divide money up. And as far as like being able to sustain this with each other, we want to be able to kind of share the wealth in a I don't know, a better way for us to get more out of what we do. So we've developed, or at least kind of, I don't know, put on the chalkboard a number of smaller kind of, I guess what we could call imprints within Ghost Fruits, where there's fewer of us kind of sharing a similar sensibility. This kind of meshes with the point that you floated earlier about, where do we mesh on certain things? And a lot of us have some things in common, some stronger than others. And there's ways that those things manifest, especially with the loadouts on some of the comics that each of us make. But in the future, what we want to do is make more smaller books with fewer of us in there that get added into the overall Ghost Fruits collection. And those are going to be sold at a lower price point. But then it's also, I guess a more focused and more kind of, I don't know, more magazine-like. They can come out more often and be kind of like directed towards one kind of sensibility. So that's one thing. And another is that there's a number of long-form graphic novels that I am writing that I am absolutely going to push to the group and see what they want to do with it. So yeah,
Working on them. One of them slowly. It's been a long time, but there's we're in this. We're doing
Yeah.
There's 5 or 6 like bigger things. There's games that we're thinking about making. But yeah, it is going to spread out and diversify. We've never wanted to do just one thing, and even the one thing in the one format. The thing about us is, and what's so fortunate about all 9 of us having such different sensibilities, is we can do anything we want, really. Like Lauren does rigging for a lot of different things, whether it be games or VTubers. I work on music. Powell does a lot of commissions on his own. Stephen also does a lot of commissions and is also just like all around. He could push out kind of, I don't know, anything he wants, really. Clothes especially is his main other gig. So I don't know, there's a whole lot of other shit going on, and we're comics was kind of our first platform as far as drawing each of us together and then getting a following. But from here, I don't know, there's going to be some seasons of Enemy, and there's going to be some stuff in between those seasons that's going to be different that I don't know, I'm really excited for.
Another thing is that like our ability to talk about big publishing stuff is that I suppose, and I guess I'm putting this on paper by saying this, there is a certain degree of dubiousness with regard to the legality of the stuff that we're writing about. Stephen and I have kind of been very loosely working on an adaptation of a classic 80s 90s children's show TV hero with ecological themes.
Aha.
And that one, not everyone might be happy.
Sort of leader of the earth, you might say.
Yeah, there's like exactly. There's an earth leader type figure who commands the forces of nature from the earth, and not everyone might be really okay with that.
Well, because like he commands like elements and stuff, and he might also like, just off the top of my head, like he might command like Nestle CEO Ulf Mark Schneider's like organs out of his body and all over like a room. And maybe like I don't know, maybe Image doesn't feel like we should make like explicit calls to action to like run into the Nestle building with like a bunch of guns.
All right.
Maybe I'm saying they might not like. I'm saying they don't think that you should say
Michelle
like
could tell you probably whether or not they would.
All right, real shit. Okay. What I would say is, in earnest, why I mentioned it earlier is everything in the pervert has never received a legal challenge ever.
Interesting.
There's a character in the when I worked in a chemical plant thing that may or may not resemble a very large red dog of some report. So like if he fucking cleared a hurdle, who could say where y'all fall? That said, Image is also I've seen so many videos and like angry comment threads from, you know, bad faith actors where they're just like inferring all of this inside hand wringing and coordinating against certain comic fans or whatever. They're just gassing themselves up and just seeking naked clout. And at the end of the day, I think I've never met a person from Image in person, and we've only communicated through emails. And all of the emails are so quick and fast and easy. But that's not me shilling for Image. There's a bunch of
All right.
If you ever go with the
Loves
publisher, yeah, I'm always saying this. I would say,
it's like, what did you fucking put out a book in Image? Sheesh.
yeah. If you ever put, it doesn't have to be Image necessarily, but if you ever go with a big publisher, make sure you retain your shit as your intellectual property, and so you retain all rights to merch and fucking I don't know, adaptations or whatever if you want to do. Like, if you're even big, I don't even think that's something that even fucking works for what you guys do. It's your whole deal is like, no, there are a million of us. Let's make
this is a great
by
question.
hand
No,
and-
no. Here's the thing: you get a blank check, and now you have to make the blockbuster, big budget Ghost Fruits movie.
I'm gonna sell all
I'm
of
putting
it
Ethan
to
Hawke
anybody,
and Nick
I'm gonna
Cage.
keep all of it. I'm gonna leave these niggas in the wind.
Oh,
That's listen.
Folks, some rare Ghost Fruits news at this moment in time.
Oh, breaking! Before any contracts are signed, I sell
Before
all the
any
rights to everything to Image. They're not used for anything, but I get paid in advance. I use that advance to change my phone number. I move into the mountains. Niggas can't get a hold of me. Whole thing's ruined. Tyler the Creator, nigga.
The plan is whoever the Chinese holding company gets in contact first is the one who's going to make out with the bag at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You're in the pocket of Big God McFarlane now.
Like, would we even need to get with a big publisher like that in the first place? Like, with all the self-publishing options that are like available now.
Part of the game is also media access, and then by transitive property, getting circulated, being featured on shit, occasional pod appearances, or you know, like
Spider-Man
someone
conspiracy
involved.
property.
Yeah. Like, basically, Tara McPherson is like a comics like sort of publicist person, and her whole fucking job is just chilling in Ireland, calling comic places or whatever, and like also sort of getting the person she's working with as a publicist to engage with this person or that person in the promotion of the book. I'm not saying that's what you guys want to do, but like that end of the game is it was a lot at once, but it's interesting. Like I think I think by virtue of the size of Ghost Fruits, it would be funny imagining that and like all of you rushing around doing that in addition to comics output, etc. But that's one person.
I think you all should start a TikTok house.
Yes. I mean, you're halfway there. You're halfway there.
yeah,
I will say
yeah. We are.
this is kind of circling back, is that one of the things that makes this whole thing work, and a lot of things that breaks a lot of people up, is I would call some kind of emotional buy-in, whereas it's the act of it that's the priority, and the enjoyment of doing it with each other.
Absolutely.
That is number one. That is number one. And the money has gone historically to, hey, somebody's short on rent. Somebody needs food. Somebody needs fucking headphones. And so the money is for, I mean, obviously none of us are sustaining ourselves off of this, but it's that.
Yeah, it can all be Jake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, old unemployed and in college me.
Yeah, the number one thing, and people have asked us in the past, like, I mean, we used to get this more often. It's like, hey, can I be in it? And it's like, no, if you want to be in this, that means you need to do it on your own, because we shouldn't be doing everything. Can't turn into one thing. We need plurality is the 1st thing.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
secondly, it's that yeah, what you need
That
to
we're
do,
haters.
yeah, and we do hate you. No, just kidding. Is you need to care about each other more than you care about the money or anything that's going to come from doing the work with each other.
Oh,
You
Well
need,
said.
yeah, and that's
Many hardcore punk and metal bands have the same ethos.
yeah,
And
I mean,
and other bands as well.
it's the heart of DIY. I feel like, especially as a
Mhm.
collaborative effort, where it's, I mean, how much of DIY is really about the money at the end of the day, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. If that's, one huge takeaway that I was hoping that people could get out of this is like, those should be your priorities if you want to do something that acts like us.
Yeah, I will say, not to like tell tales just for the sake of doing it, but like Michelle mentioned it earlier or whatever, and there are exactly 2 times ever in the span that we've been doing it where someone specifically was like, hey, I want to be in the thing. How do I get in the thing? And then we like talked to them for a while and like hooked it up, and then like how whatever. And those are the 2 people who are not here anymore. It doesn't really, that is the common denominator in those situations. And it don't really like, I don't like, when I see a thing I see a lot when I like look at any kind of forum for anything is a person who pops out and is like, hey, who wants to start a collective? I heard Brockhampton got that shit popping off. Kanye to the let's go sign up.
Yep.
That will never, ever, 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 never, ever one time in your life work. Not ever.
Right.
Not joining it, not starting it. It will never, ever work ever. You will do that shit for like 2 months and it'll fall apart.
Yeah. For this pod, for example, to point of reference, like knowing, I think I've known Jake and Ruben and several others, Lauren included, almost 15 years now. We straight up would not have done this or worked on this had we not had that time investment or known each other for as long as we did. It's true collaboration in my eyes is like just like a part of the schema of a long running relationship and affectionate relationship, where you have your sort of in way in which you communicate with one another and have output when you decide to do that. It was like, I'd known these guys forever, and like I was just like, I want to bring them into the stuff I've done by my life and like incorporate them into that, because it was just like they'd been there every step of the way. So I definitely feel that part of the motivation when I talked about the stuff earlier, i.e. publishing this or that or whatever. It's just like also I always think about that in terms of like, do you work with someone else, or is it just also like, at the same time, fuck, or if we did enough things, we could just put this out ourselves physically. I spoke to Carter in an episode before, and right now she's pretty close to like having her own permanent new office in which she puts out comics. I'll probably be able to follow up on a project I want to work on with her publisher pretty soon. So it's like, that's the thing. Those are sort of the choices you make. And like, it's very interesting hearing that response. Like, no, it's about the output, not the material motivations for it, which is ideally where you get some of the most interesting stuff. This has been, God, yeah. Now it's 2021. Now you start around like 2013 or so. Like, yeah, it's like a decade now. So
yeah,
it's about getting to make comic books for me, right? Like I said that before. It's for me. It's about I remember my dad was really into comic books as a kid. My dad's really old. My dad was really into comic books as a kid. My uncle was really into comic books. I remember getting so excited every time I'd meet my uncle because he'd give me this big collection of these brilliantly assembled Hal Foster Prince Valiant collections, or my dad was buying these like 10-piece Marvel reprints from the Barnes and Noble that came in the glossy silver colors, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the, like essentials or whatever.
Absolutely. And I would read, you know, and then I'd also get, you know, the big fat giant huge black and white reprints instead that weren't colored, you know, like volume 1 of Thor,
those
those I remember a lot.
And you know, I have always and I remember getting in trouble with my dad because I did like a 4-page comic book adaptation of Warren Zevon's Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner as a kid, and it was too violent and had too many curse words and stuff, and he'd be like, hey, you can't be doing this, because I was like 7 or whatever. So comic books have always just been a big deal to me. I think it's just it's a cool ass fucking thing to do, and so getting to make a comic book is chief for me. You know, that's like, I don't care about getting rich off of it. I don't care about, you know, whether or not I'm going to rock with an Image guy or whatever the hell, or a Dark Horse guy or a Top Cow guy, although that'd be cool. But, you know, it's like,
shout outs Top Cow.
But for me, it's like, dude, I'm making a comic book. I'm making a comic, and I'm making a comic with my buddies, right? So that's what's top for me. Top cow for me.
I think also, like, for me, like, part of the importance of like these being like people I've known like a super long time and who were already a part of my life in a way that wasn't dependent on us doing this or whatever, is that like even if, because I don't know, it's hard to thread, as Michelle mentioned, it's like hard to like a big intimidating thing whenever we have talked to publishers, is that it's like 9 people, like that's a lot. But like I don't know, even in a situation where it's like one of us goes somewhere and like does some shit or whatever, it's not like that all comes back. Like if I get a job some fucking where, like inking some shit for some nigga for what it is, like I am in that building trying to like find ways to get shit out of the building to like bring back home. Like it's not like it's a thing that kind of supersedes what like contracts and shit like say a little bit. I'm in Jake's brain right now, and he's thinking about the line from Popstar where he says, you know, the RZA can go off and make his own album.
Oh yeah, God.
But he's still
a part of the Wu-Tang clan. Or like how
Liquid Swords.
Dilla
Liquid Swords is a Wu-Tang album.
Yeah, he does his own thing, but then he's part of the Wu-Tang clan.
Yeah,
or like how Jizza also goes off and does his thing, but then he's still part of the Wu-Tang clan.
That is 100% it. Like, yo, this last year I got.
I think we have used that exact analogy.
Yeah, exactly.
Internally.
Like, I got into streaming and was doing all these shows and shit for this like Twitch network that was unaffiliated, but it's like you put the Ghost Fruits on the end of the shit if you're a part of it. I put out all my albums and I tag the Ghost Fruits shit in it because that's what it's from. I'm representing. Steven used to say like Ghost Fruits is a helmet you put on whenever you do anything.
Nice.
And that's how it is. You're just wearing the, I don't know, just the suit of it, and whatever you do, that's part of it. And it's always gonna. Yeah, you're the Juggernaut. You're the Ghost Fruits Juggernaut, and you're gonna bring it back home no matter what. And
I know why he said that.
But yeah, I don't know. That's the ethos, you know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
It's because you're Magneto.
I mean, do both helmets like shield against mind control?
Yeah, well, because the Juggernaut is Xavier's brother, and then Magneto wears the mind shielding helmet because I got pizza in my mouth. Sorry, is because he's nemesis with Xavier. So
it's true.
Okay, all right.
I think we should kill all mutants.
Charles cannot get in all their heads.
Wait, Ruben, what did you say?
I said we got a jacket update. I got into the jacket a long time ago. If y'all remember that part. I've been in the jacket ever since.
It was a great review. We remember.
What was that stuff about? Hey, what was that stuff about the mutants?
I'm still in the jacket. I put the hood over my eyes. I've been sitting here the whole time.
You're a big Attack on Titan fan?
We got one feedback about the jacket is that if the pocket's not the deepest pocket, I can get a gun in it and I could aim the gun from the pocket, but you can't pull from the pocket.
We do. Yeah, Ruben is your live gun demonstrator on the jacket.
Ruben is
and
gun-pilled.
gun ergonomics.
Yeah.
Pockets
Other
not
than that,
deep enough.
it's comfortable.
Okay.
So utility C minus.
Sure.
But the comfort's high. We're talking like at least a B plus, maybe
It's
a
a
low A.
comfy ass jacket.
We're getting
My
we're getting
arms,
we're
my
getting
arms get
jacket
100%
ASMR.
sweaty in
Yeah.
anything this material,
It's
and my
that,
arms are
it's that
breathing right
Chinese
now.
engineering.
It's great.
We were fucking we were modeling that shit for like promo photos, and I put that. I was like, ooh, I want it. This is like a little sleep. I need a pillow in this thing.
Take a
I'm
little
gonna use that
nappy.
for a nap.
What's fucking insane and wasn't like deliberate or a thing that was like everyone in Ghost Fruits has like distinct silhouettes, I would say, like considerably. You can tell who all of us all in the dark. All of us wear the exact same fucking size on that jacket. There is one size of that jacket that fits every single goddamn person on earth, and I do not understand how.
3X.
Well, it is a huge jacket.
It's a massive jacket.
We,
but
no one is a quadruple X in Ghost Fruits yet. So
I'm just saying, even like the length of the sleeves like hits. You can have it. You can have
No,
it. Pop.
no, it's
I'm sorry.
true though. I wear an L, and those sleeves come up to the right exact spot, and every single one we shipped out is a 3X.
I
Hot
could read my
damn.
watch. I could read my watch in these sleeves.
it's
It
the
is, where
Chinese
they're landing.
engineering.
It's the loudest jacket I've ever heard. There's like a fucking
Oh, you're in the jacket. We're all in the jacket right now.
Ooh,
Oh, I feel so
very
warm.
cold. It's very warm and
Oh, like
cozy.
The
so wait.
hood's up.
Oh my god.
This jacket's
How did we? Oh my god. How did we all fit in here? I can't believe this is a huge jacket.
It smells
I
like
had to tweet at Sheeta 3
3XS.
times to get my jacket. I kept saying, "Send me my jacket," until it came in the mail.
I had to sew the tags on, and I'm really sorry. A
I
bunch of
resent
shit got
that I was
fucked up.
that I was one of the last people to get the jacket. I know you sent out other ones first.
No,
And
don't
that
feel
wasn't
bad
me in the
about it.
first way.
Don't feel bad about it.
I made sure you were the last one.
I'm like
It's
looking
pretty
to
messed
my
up.
left and my right.
She saved the best for last.
I said, put this on your slowest playing.
We're wheeling this one in.
I said, I need this one to travel at the speed
She said,
of.
yeah,
at
she
the
said,
speed of
that can wait.
smell.
She said that one
Taking
can
the
wait a
Oregon
day
Trail
before you move
shortcut,
it.
Or if you don't make it by winter, you eat each other.
Yeah. It smells like a Mexican man in his early 30s in here. It's incredible. That's
I'm
the
30
Ghost Fruits
next
promise.
month. It's my birthday.
Oh, hey, happy birthday next month.
No, he's
Next
about to
month.
be one of us.
He's gonna make a fucking
Yeah,
meal of
wait
that.
a second. It was my birthday a week ago. Get out of here. Stop stealing my birthday clout.
Yeah, your
Happy birthday,
birthday's
Jake.
over. My birthday's begun.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Ruben.
Not yet.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. It's next month. He gets to make a meal out of that shit.
We are
next
my
month.
birthday.
Yeah, we're already in the coat. Don't give him any more.
I'm zipping the code.
Oh
Well.
God. All right.
Well, here all together in this massive Ghost Fruits jacket.
We're all wearing
what
wearing matching pajamas. And we've
Announcing my
got
competitor group.
What would you
Ghost
all like to
Fruit.
leave us with as Ghost Fruits, considering that we are in the wrap up phase of things here and we're all snuggled together in this comfy
Yeah.
piece of
Tell
clothing?
us anything you have
Do-
coming out in the future.
Do
Any
fun
pertinent
shit with your
links.
friends.
Aw.
Do
Yeah.
fun shit with
Yes.
your friends.
Yeah.
Fucking Enemy 4 Halloween
Hi.
day
Right.
specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Enemy 3 out not that long ago, 20 days. Ghostfruits.com. Get
I
it.
heard it was pretty successful.
Oh yeah,
Honest-
tremendously so. Like
Yeah.
compared to like the first, like there has been like an iterative thing with like all of these that is
That's
like
great.
yeah, it's weird. The whole thing's been weird. I think that I'm still stuck in like the first phase of us doing it where it's like, oh, niggas don't and we got it, blah, blah, blah. And then like well like the thing with the jacket, like in seriousness, the reason that happened is because we made fucking 5 of them and we were certain that we were gonna struggle to sell those. And then those went in like a fraction of a second. And then we were like, I don't, and then a ton of people were like, yo, shit don't work. Where's your jacket? Blah, blah. And we had to like order like a whole bunch more. That happens like a lot. That happens with like everything that we've released. Where like I think that we don't know how to scale like our mindset to where anything like is now.
I mean, in the future, I can confer to you a guy. I may know a guy.
Oh, you know
I
what?
would love to know a guy.
All right.
Fucking one more time.
I
I
know
want
a guy.
to read us all down.
All right.
Yeah.
Ghost Fruits is the mango. We have Steven. We got
Bow.
Talk, aka Frank. We got me, Sheeta. We got Francine, the person faces. We got James, the cat lord. We got B. We got Lauren, Garbo Trash 3D. We got Pal the Centipede. That's 9. All of us. At Ghost Fruits, if you want to find any of our links to Twitter, go to our website. Fucking we got a lot of friends. There's a lot of friends out there. You know what? Follow Alex Pierre at Lil Baby Powder. Follow
That's the
Ivy.
homie for sure.
Follow Ivy at Bloodsat.
Follow Ivy.
Follow the Tired Demon, Gigi the Nemesis. Follow goddamn Haven, the Vintage Foods. There's so many people. There's so many goddamn people out here making extremely good art who just they need eyes. We got to give them eyes.
Absolutely.
As Lauren said, you know, go and make good stuff with your friends.
Yeah.
We don't have much time.
I'll say one last thing. Well, 2 things. You know, if you're listening to this and you don't draw and you are thinking about drawing, it really is as easy as that thing I said earlier. I'm not going to repeat it because you're going to have to go back and listen or forever lose the secret. And then secondly, the secret to any other further production that of anything that comes out good is that you have to believe in the merit of the thing that you're doing. You have to trust that whatever you're doing actually could be good, and you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for other people.
Ooh, damn, intense.
Very well said.
Yeah. All right. Not to run long. I'd say just as a coda here again. I'm really into the word coda lately, Jake. I don't know what that's about.
Sipping on that coda.
Fresh diet coda. What I'd say is, yeah. What's so interesting to me about Ghost Fruits is, again, it's a 9, and I think at one point, yeah, 10 or 12 or 17 group, 17-person group, with a lot of collaborators, people that I've worked with in the past had collaborated with them, and like the crazy thing is, like, on paper this should not work, and it's worked for nearly 10 years. And what's the glue holding that together? It's believing in what you do. You enjoy what you do, and at the end of the day, like, maybe that's enough for genuine unfettered art. I'd say this is the stuff where you still feel like you see a wild animal, like out in the fucking wilderness, as opposed to people sort of folding or changing the shape and contours of their work to fit into an existing mold. Why I've been fixated on this, and why friends of mine for years have joined them, is just like they just keep putting out work, and not only do they do that, they like put out stuff they genuinely enjoy. There's no gun to their head. In my mind's eye, yeah, that's the best case scenario for collaboration.
Oh my god, my fucking leg!
Oh my god, my fucking leg. And on that note, I'm Michelle PEREZ.
What the fuck?
That's Jake. There's Ruben. We're inside his coat. And this has been Working on It. I'd like to thank my guests again at GHOSTFRUITS.
Thank
And,
you, Ghost
yeah.
Fruits.
Thanks for having us.
Super
Y'all
happy
have
to
a-
be here.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And on that
Night.
note, y'all have a great night.